to accept the previous minutes.
Motion? Second?
Seconded, all in favor?
So to here,
Yep.
Margaret's not here.
Yep.
Yeah, great. But just because, yeah. Golly, that's real.
All right, we're gonna.
Is he going to be a problem? I can step out
He's,
with allergies.
No.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's not the dog.
but that was very thoughtful. Right, it's Peter. It's Peter.
Oh, hi. Oh, that's great. We're gonna skip to, if it's okay with everybody, we're gonna skip to number 5 for the green burial presentation.
Great. So what do you got?
So what have I got?
Well,
So
Who are you?
Yeah.
And how are our new friends here? So I see Eileen here and then Brainfart Harper. But are welcome to present about green burials because I know that's something that we've been interested in terms of updating like our stuff here in Hadley with the Board of Health. And so we're just so thankful to have you here. So thank you so much.
we're from Green Burial, Massachusetts, which is a volunteer combustion nonprofit organization that loves to spread the word about getting green burial going. And we've been around for about 10 years officially. And we are part of the newbies that are stepping up on the board. Some of the other folks on the board have decided that they are ready to resign. And so my background is nursing.
I know it's that time of year.
My background is hospice and palliative primarily. I work over at the Cancer Center now. And Harper is the geologist, so we have the opportunity to work from lots of different angles. We also have Coco King, who has been a part of a green burial cemetery on the West Coast, right down to digging the holes.
Continue.
Certainly. So we are basically coming in and taking over, and we want to be able to grow and expand, including looking for land in order to be able to create potentially conservation cemetery, but if not, then natural burial, and worst case scenario, which would not be bad at all, would be to join with the cemeteries that are currently in place to be able to either create or expand as a
Yeah.
hybrid cemetery.
Oh, that'd be great.
So we go across Massachusetts. I just came from Dennis. That's a lovely drive. We didn't even run into traffic until we hit Route 90. So it wasn't bad. The ride-up was great. Anyway, so differences between conventional burial. We're all, if you've ever been to a funeral, are probably aware of how that rolls. So the patient,
Yeah.
nursing background.
Here we go. The healthcare background. Yeah.
The former patient,
The insured.
the decedent is embalmed, they are put in a casket, they are put in a vault in a cemetery that loves to maintain their beauty and green grass and such. And we're a little bit more askew than that. For green burial, we don't do embalming. The container that one would be placed in would be biodegradable, and that could be anything from a shroud to a casket that is created by willow or reeds. There is a casket place in Florence that builds caskets that are not treated wood. And there's typically no vault involved. I'll get into that in just a moment, but placed 3.5 to 4 feet in the ground for the ultimate micro feast in order to be able to decompose in a natural sense and have a natural marker. So a piece of wood, a stone that is local, something that has not been traveling too far in order to be able to mark the grave, if at all. I mean, there is the opportunity for GPS location at this point. There are various cemeteries, not necessarily in Massachusetts, that are doing that in order to be able to find the final place of rest for your loved one. And I say, going back to the vault, that's not likely in a more hybrid cemetery situation. they might not allow for it to be without a vault altogether, but it can be flipped over with no lid so that the body is still on the ground, and it does have the opportunity to decompose, and the vault will just create that barrier to keep the ground from sinking in.
You said 3 to 4 feet under?
3.5 to 4 feet, yeah. 6 feet was really for grave robbers, honestly, and animals, which we don't really necessarily have to be that concerned with. That's low enough down. Harper is a phenomenal resource to be able to touch base with us in regards to, soil content, water table, and how to move forward with creating the potential of having a cemetery in this area. Of course, we have Wildwood in Amherst, we have the one in Gill, we have one in Montague. There's quite a few in this particular area, spread out either east or west, and that's not necessarily the case. Obviously, primarily for water table purposes, because there's lots of swampy and decomposing areas otherwise. But let's see, it's what we used to do. We used to die at home and have a home funeral, and then have the opportunity to be buried just to complete the circle of life, and that we're trying to get back to basics in that fashion. So, when I was working primarily in hospice, there was very little opportunity and knowledge on both teams that I worked on of green burial. So it's really starting to come into fruition, definitely. There are groups like the Order of the Good Death that have popularized the death care continuum, which is really good. There is a Green Burial Council, which is the national version of what we're doing. So we're just across the state with Green Burial Mass, but they're phenomenal resources to be able to find who, what, when, why, and how. And I think the biggest concerns as far as how to create the green burials, make sure that it is planned well in advance, and that you have all of your ducks in a row, because when that final episode happens, you have to move on a fairly quick manner. So, depending on where the decedent has passed, if it's at home, there was a kind of a rumor of sorts that you could keep the body in the home for up to a 3-day period. And I'm thinking that was really more created for the sake of, well, beyond the 3-day period, you're really worried about the start of, mass decomposition.
Yeah.
So, but ultimately, dry ice, air conditioning can alleviate all of that to an extent. Obviously, we also have to consider, again, what the weather would be like, how quickly we can get the hole dug and such. And so it depends on, where you are anticipating being buried. You can be buried on your own land. It is not illegal in Massachusetts. Mass.gov has a lot of information in regards to that. Home Care Funeral Alliance has a lot of good pertinent information as well. And there is a cemetery database on our website of people who currently have the option to be able to use their area for green burial purposes. So there are actually quite a few hybrid cemeteries across the state. There used to only be a handful, and now there's over 60. So that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Questions so far?
Answer.
What are we,
So here
how are
in,
we involved?
so here in Hadley, we don't have specific Board of Health regulations or acknowledgement of acceptance of green burials in town. And other boards of health, like in our area, several of them do have that acknowledgement that it's acceptable.
I'm just.
Yeah, no,
It's
yeah.
not being.
No,
no, it's okay.
I love the idea. I want everybody to be able to do it. I'm just confused, like,
That I
how does the Board of Health regulate, what do we have to do with burials?
So I think it wouldn't necessarily be, because what I'm hearing Eileen say is that it's a state accepted thing.
Okay.
But that it would be helpful for us as a Board of Health to have knowledge and information for our community and, kind of acceptance and permission, quasi permission from the board that this is an acceptable practice.
And we, under us, we farm it out to the clerk's office, but under us, burial permits go through the Board of Health.
Right.
So,
But who decides in a cemetery in Hadley whether they like allow green burial? I mean, is that an issue?
Each town has a cemetery commission, to the best of my knowledge, and it varies town by town or city by city. And it might only be a handful of people.
They're the ones who would need to get on board.
and Susan, I know who the person is that
Right.
actually handles that thing, so I would have a conversation about
Okay.
it. I have a couple questions.
This is the first steps.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, no, it's great.
So one of the questions is, I had heard of this before, but more so with like family plots, you know, that type of thing. And you brought up something that I hadn't thought of before, which is assigning maybe an existing cemetery that a part of it for burial. Do you have any difference as far as guidance goes, or what you would talk to people about if they said, I want to bury the body on our family plot versus at a cemetery? What, you know, what's the difference as far as planning goes, as far as you're concerned?
So being buried on your own land, you have to disclose that information should you sell it in the future. And also, you know, if somebody were to purchase that area of land, if family wanted to continue to be able to go and visit the spot,
Right.
they would, require permission. There's not, in the 21 years that I've been a nurse, I know of one green burial, and it didn't go so well because they didn't have all the paperwork and permits taken care of her prior to her dying. And so she ended up having to be put in the communal fridge. So we'd like to try to avoid that, and that's why the planning is so important for,
What kind of permits do they not have?
again, I didn't get involved in that aspect because I was the nurse part. And this is fairly new to me, in all honesty, as far as planning is concerned. But I'd love to be able to touch base with town halls and see what their requirements are, because they might vary considerably. You know, it has to, I think, do as much with acceptance in the way Dragon have mentioned as it would be the availability and how reasonable it is to be able to get somebody soup to nuts to where their final resting place wants to be. So I think that this requires, you know, a lot of people don't even really know about green burial. So that's where we're at as far as this group is concerned, but we anticipate the opportunity to expand as such that we wanted to be able to create our own green cemetery at some point somewhere if we're finding a plot of land. So some of the information is new territory for somebody like myself, because I've only ever been witness to one that didn't go as planned. So, you know, in kind of creating that process moving forward, you know, would be something like this, meeting with the Board of Health, with the Cemetery Commission to see what their thoughts are, to create the bylaws that you require in order to be able to have the appropriate paperwork and permits, which I'm not really sure exactly what that is, and then be able to move forward from there. So.
Another question is related to cost. It sounds like it would possibly be less expensive than a traditional burial. Do you have any idea what the difference in cost would be? It doesn't have to be exact, but you know, like generally speaking, what the cost difference would be?
So as far as a traditional burial, which is what they call, you know, the conventional burials now,
Yeah.
can run thousands upon thousands of dollars. like I just witnessed somebody who had passed, and the least expensive that the funeral home could come up with was $18,000. And the family had to pay it out of pocket before they would take care of the
Yeah.
deceased.
Right.
So as far as green burial is concerned, we need to make sure that we know, what the plot would probably be approximately the same. Although it also depends on what cemetery you're going with, because a hybrid cemetery, you're most likely going to use more machinery to be able to dig the hole, as opposed to with something like a conservation cemetery. We don't want to disrupt the land any more than we have to, so it would require potentially having people to dig the hole, which is in and of itself an entirely separate situation, because who's going to be responsible for that and for whatnot. So on average, plots can cost anywhere from 500 to a couple of grand. And then,
I know for us, I'm interrupting, but the excavator fee we pay is $1,000 to come and dig. A casket can, simple pine box can be, a couple of $1,000s, but you could upgrade to
Yeah.
a lot. The shroud, if you don't want to use a casket, they have the green burial places, I know Asher Zimmerman and Ahern, they have this, shroud, I don't know what you call it, but
Right.
the body goes in it and it's got two handles.
that's better.
So you just
Yeah.
walk it over, you can lay it in the grave, and that I was told was only $700.
Right.
Yep.
So, and then you're not embalming, I mean, we
Right.
at our synagogue, we don't do embalming.
Right.
Anyway, it's not our tradition,
Right.
but yes, it's much less expensive.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
So in Montague, for non-residents, because it is a town cemetery, it's $1,000 per plot.
Which is a bargain.
Right.
Yes,
Oh.
and
I mean, we charge at our cemetery, if you're not a member, you pay like $5,000.
Oh, golly.
Yeah, so it can range considerably,
Yeah.
and I mean, you can always upgrade all the things, but I mean, even, it's not even absolutely necessary to have a shroud that you have purchased, and it's, as long as it's biodegradable, you can use muslin or cotton or, wool, something along those lines, which would be, cost effective, and biodegradable. And it really depends on how much your clan, your community is going to be able to participate as well, too. Do you have to go through a funeral home and have the body refrigerated, and then the transportation? Because again, transportation is not illegal in Massachusetts of a decedent, but you have to have the appropriate paperwork in order
Right.
to be able to move them from one place to another. So somebody coming from the hospital might have to go to some place like a funeral home. And most funeral homes also have like an a la carte menu. So you don't want to do anything with them besides refrigeration and transportation. That is entirely conceivable, but there are only a handful of funeral homes that will do that at this point.
they'll be involved in the transportation permits, the burial permits, and things like that. So there's an administrative part that they would also handle if you went with the funeral home.
Right. Mass.gov also has all of the appropriate paperwork that would need to be filled out,
great.
that you can print out or, have assistance with, including the death certificate and, if you have hospice, it's only, oh my goodness, what's the word?
Brain fart.
Yeah, total. It's just a pronouncement. You have to
Oh.
have the actual death certificate in order to be able to transport and whatnot. So it takes a bit of planning to be able to do
And it
this.
sounds like we could work with the cemetery.
Yeah.
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 committee and
I-
find out what the story.
I
is.
You
know
said
from-
Mass.gov was a source that
I know from at least, one of the things that I've heard from people when I've had super superficial conversation starters about this is like, and this is where you can come in. How could this impact like our soil in our groundwater and potential stuff like that? So this is where you as like I'm putting you on the spot, but as a geology specialist, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so this is all stuff I'm learning, but one of the other group that you would need to get involved would be the Department of Environmental protection, have a look at that. Often, and again, this is not legal advice, but often cemeteries that are already existing have a lot more leeway in terms of what they're allowed to put in their bylaws as requirements. So if they're pre-existing, it's a little bit easier for them to create the bylaws to allow green burial. What we look for when we're doing cemetery research, the state of Massachusetts has requirements. So a certain offset from the water table, certain offset from offset wells, things like that. And that's what we look at. The Department of Environmental Protection would also hopefully look at and say, what's close, what would you need? So in terms of environmental impact in a conventional cemetery, and bodies do decay in a conventional cemetery, the burial density can be as much as 1,200 to 1,400 per acre, people per acre. And in more high-road cemeteries, usually that density is much smaller. So, for example, something more on the lines of maybe 300 burials per acre, which would reduce the amount of impact on the watershed or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Bodies still do decompose even though they're embalmed, and it just slows down the decomposition process. That it's going to be occurring either way. Just if you look at, where's your town's water coming from, where are the offset wells, that's kind of what we look for.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the big misconception
Sure.
that in terms of when I've had conversations with people, is that with conventional burials, that the bodies don't decompose fully into the water table. So we're still experiencing that, right? No matter whether the choice is what type of burial we're doing. It's just kind of like what I would interpret as like the cadence or the pace of that introduction into the soil.
It's
You know.
definitely the timing and the
There
location.
you
So
go.
somebody who's not embalmed is gonna break down your soft tissues, about 6 months or so. The rest of the body could be up to a 5-year period, and you might find bone fragments, whereas embalming a body and then putting them in a casket in a vault can take at least 10 to 15 years. And the vault, even though they're, sealed, that they're still going to potentially leak, and what they leak. Although I was looking at, what formaldehyde will do in the soil as opposed
That's what
to
creeps me out.
a breaking down of a natural body, even if they went through chemo, the half-life of a chemo is maybe a couple weeks at the most, versus formaldehyde. It does break down a little bit easier than what we had initially anticipated. The idea of embalming is really more detrimental to the morticians who have a higher cancer rate overall.
Mm.
So.
Yeah, I guess, what are the, I know I think of the, value added things for green burial, but, I guess circling back to you two, what would be kind of your highlights in terms of why it would be wonderful or important to bring to Hadley, to support this in our community?
Well, I think the two things that you focus on are the acceptability level. Death is gross and it's scary and nobody wants to touch it, but everybody's going to go through it. And so being able to be a part of that death care continuum from the time somebody gets sick until the time they're, in whatever fashion they are interred, it gives you the opportunity to get back to basics, so you have your family and your friends in your community being able to, much in like the Jewish community, being involved in the passing of somebody is just a completion of life, and so I think that the idea that death is gross and scary is the biggest hurdle. And what will the people of Hadley benefit from? Personalization in the grieving process. which is where I think it's difficult to just focus on green burial, especially from my perspective, because it's an entire process, and so being able to be a part of that, and not everybody can. It's
Right.
certainly acceptable to understand that even though this is what you want to have happen after you die, once you're gone, you're gone. And so everybody that is responsible for taking care of the steps that you requested might not be a feasible opportunity for everybody. And so taking that into consideration is really important.
Yeah.
But for people who want to have more inclusion and they're, stopped at the gates
Yeah.
for the sake of being able to, the last viewing or being able to offer the opportunity to be part of the cleansing process and we know where you are and we know where to find you and we know where to go and here are, letters that we wrote you and flowers from our garden and the surrounding areas, whatever, pine cones or, whatnot, to be able to personalize the aspect of losing somebody is really, really important.
And what I'm feeling more and more is like, I'm so wonderful that your community, the Jewish community that you're part of, like already participates in this, but like that we're having a widening demographic in our area that don't just identify with your community, with making it kind of a broader span of knowledge and like availability
Absolutely.
to them.
A lot of people will say, I just want a pine box at the end, I want something simple.
Right.
And if you don't have that planning and you already have the bylaws in place in your
Right.
city, you get to the end and there is no option for the pine box. So
Right.
your next best option is cremation, which a lot of people might not want or
Yes.
be for that.
And reducing the carbon footprint
Right.
of what conventional burial or cremation is going to do as far as the environment is concerned is really kind of crucial and has been for years, but it's getting worse.
Do you know about aquification?
Yes, so
I
there's
just learned about it.
hydrolysis. There is a spot in Connecticut, and
It's
so
really high pressure of water,
Oh, goodness.
which does
I've never heard of
the
this.
Oh, it's
same-
alkaline
same thing as
hydrolysis.
cremation, but it's carbon, it's more
Carbon neutral?
friendly.
Mhm.
It doesn't, because the furnace uses up a lot of energy.
right.
Desmond Tutu, I think, in South Africa, he did that.
Yes, and a lot of Jewish people are not excited about
Yeah.
getting burned.
Of course,
Yes.
for various
So, but the
reasons. I am
That's
sure.
right, yeah.
I am
But the
sure.
aquification, I had never heard of it.
That's
And then
really interesting.
We just went up to a spot in Vermont, probably about an hour from here for terramation. So there is now a facility in Vermont, it's called Sacred Soil, that if you would like to be composted, basically green burial but above ground.
Yeah.
And, the gentleman who started this company in Colorado has opened up this opportunity in Vermont. And the only thing that they couldn't attest to is they can't use the surrounding elements at this time because they don't know exactly what
Sure.
the elements are as far as, the straw and alfalfa and whatnot they put in to be able to break down the body. So that's transported from Colorado because he knows the exact science of what they're offering. But in the future, they were looking to be able to figure out who has the opportunity to break down the environmental aspect of things to be able to make it as local as humanly possible. So there's so much good to be able to come about from green burial, and it's just a matter of getting over that hump of, wow,
It's different.
that.
It's different
Gross,
and it's uncomfortable
Yeah.
and no one talks about it.
Yeah, and a lot of the laws and the regulations that each town has put in place for their cemeteries they were made at a specific time, but unless they're updated,
Correct.
you don't have that opportunity, and it's hard to do that after someone has died and it's time.
Right.
Yeah.
So just to circle back, what I'm hearing in terms of like next steps is that then our health director could reach out to the cemetery commission board. What's their
Board.
official, I don't know
Board, but
what,
there's somebody that specifically
is it
does.
Gary?
Yeah,
Or,
I'll reach out to
I
Gary.
know what they allow, what they don't allow.
Yeah, and the Department of Environmental Protection would
Yeah.
also be good to speak with.
oh, good. But I know like Amherst does it, they have like, are you part of the Wildwood Cemetery or is that someone
No,
different?
they're-
But there's like also Wildwood, I think
Jewish
it is.
community there, they have their own
But-
cemetery up in Shrewsbury.
Yeah, but
I've been to the one in Northampton on 5 and 10, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where they come, yeah,
It's
that's
a long time ago.
but for, I know it's making sure that, that we're reaching everybody where they're at is really important to me. So I just thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, thank you very
Right.
much.
Thank you for having us.
Nice
Yeah.
talk.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. If we have any additional questions, I know I have your contact information.
I have brochures.
Oh, of course.
I just had a
Of course Eileen does. I was like, maybe Hope knows.
There's many ways to reach us.
Oh, wonderful.
We don't just talk to folks like you, but we'll do presentations at libraries and things.
Great.
Yeah, and if you would like that to happen in like the library, I don't know why but the elders had, elders of the board had said, well, you can't reach out, somebody has to reach out to you in order to be able to ask for a presentation, and I think that that's poppycock, and I don't understand why that would happen, but.
Well, I do know people that are maybe engaged with the historical commission and possibly also the Friends of the Library. So I think there might be able to be relationships there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And we would love to be able to learn and grow with you,
Yeah.
so.
Well, I think like with everything, I'm cutting you off. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
When we don't hear about things, it's uncomfortable, right? And so it's not the way people have always done it.
Right.
That we know, like in the Western European box.
And the funeral
Literally.
industry is strong.
Yeah.
And they're powerful and they're loud and they get their way, and this isn't going to make them money.
Right.
So that is something to take into consideration as well, even if you know, like Ahern he was the best. I loved working with him. Lovely gentleman, Joe Pasternak up in Williamsburg. Really great guy, really lovely, but they don't offer all the things.
Yeah.
And they do have to think about their livelihood as well. So I can imagine that means,
Thank you very much.
Oh my golly, this was great. Thank you so much for coming. It was nice to meet you and your
Nice
friends.
to meet you as well. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Let us know if you have any questions.
Director,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a safe drive home.
All right.
still the storm has gone.
So I was like running out in the rain earlier, yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, so next item on the list here. So we just want to keep the board updated on the nurse position. It is posted, but we don't have any applicants yet. It was posted a little while after the board originally approved it. It's been up for a little bit now, but again, no applicants yet. I'll let you guys know. Next item is summer camps have been inspected, so we're good to go on that front. Everybody's, at this point, it's pretty
Great.
routine.
Thank you, Dan.
Next item is that myself, I went on a shadow training with Dragon. And so took notes on that, getting some experience on what to do on animal inspections.
Good.
And I am now officially an animal inspector.
And you had your first individual case?
Yep.
In-
Well,
okay,
yep,
case.
quarantine.
Yes,
Yeah.
right,
So,
yeah.
sorry, that was my next bullet point.
Sorry.
Which is that no, you knew where I was going with. So I did a quarantine with an animal. So Dragon is kind of showing me the ropes as things go.
It's great.
So thank you for that, Dragon. I appreciate it.
His wings are flying.
Yeah. I'm still fledgling, but the feathers are coming in.
Berry badge.
There you go. I need a badge. Next item on the list is food truck events are now allowed on Route 9.
wow.
That's new.
Yep, that's new.
Yeah.
I know that in the past, Route 9 was in some way banned
They
from
weren't
food
allowed
Right,
trucks.
yeah. I
But
think we were never really clear as to the
correct. I looked to see if I could see something past that
great
was-
institutional memory. We could not.
Yes, I could not
dig deep.
find it. I
Yeah.
think there was a conversation saying it wasn't allowed at some point, but if there was a vote, I couldn't find the document that states the details. And so what I did was I went back to the rest of the town's departments and had a conversation with them about what was the reasons why they were not allowed,
Right.
and one of the big ones was traffic control, and other things like that. But with these temporary events are now allowed with the understanding that they get approved through the fire department, and
Okay.
different reviews happen in the actual by the town's
Yeah.
department, so that there's some control over the events. In the near future, we expect that our new town admin, will ask the select board to consider allowing annual licensing for food trucks in town.
Okay.
One of the big concerns on that, just to let you guys know, this doesn't fall under our purview, but the select board has to pick spots so that there's not,
Right, the locations.
like our brick and mortars don't go out of business
Right.
because, competition's right outside the door. So the select board has to figure all that out, how to make it so it's reasonable for all business owners. That's not us, we just care about the safety of the food, but I cannot issue licenses, annual licenses or seasonal licenses for that until they clear it up.
Yep.
So that's what's going on next on that. All right, next item on the list is new septic installer approval procedure. It is not yet in place, but it's something I'm working on. The reason why is, since I've been here, every time we've licensed a new installer, they've had existing permits from other towns that they can show us to show that they have experience in the industry,
Right.
so that we can give them a license here in Hadley. Hahowever, I have been approached by someone that does not have those licenses, but would like to start
Right.
doing installing in Hadley. So the question is, how do we know that they have the right experience, that they can actually do the job competently, so that we can give them a license? It's a good question, and it's something I've raised to our regional training partners.
Okay.
So I'm working with them to try to put something together
Yeah.
so that we can have something good.
I just want them to have the opportunity.
Well, so
Correct.
that's what I was just gonna say, is like, yes, I know past practice is that we've requested those things
Yep.
for evidence.
You don't want to
But
put a
if-
shop.
But if someone has passed the exams and the licensure, then like,
So
we should give them.
That'll
yeah.
figure it out.
That's exactly right. I'm reaching out to them. We're
Yeah.
trying to get something together. And hopefully whatever
Okay.
I adopt will be something that's adopted by other
Yeah.
towns as well.
Yeah.
All right, so then the last thing on the list is that I, in the near future, will be presenting before the board proposals for a vote for new regulations in town. Those I've brought up to you before. They are the banning of synthetic drugs in the town of Hadley.
Kratom, right?
Yep, kratom is the most commonly known.
Which one?
Kratom, it's a synthetic, they sell it at gas stations.
Synthetic what?
Synthetic
Drug,
like recreational drug.
What is it though?
it's not regulated, it's just
It's
a,
a chemical that causes somebody to have a high.
You know what you don't know what's the name of it?
I don't know the chemical,
No.
I'm not a chemist, but it's Kratom, Kratom, I believe.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I think
It's K.
K, not a T,
Yeah.
K,
K.
K-R, Kratom. Yep, there you go,
There you go.
Straight time.
yeah.
So,
Check it out. I'm
so-
just curious.
that's one of them that I would be bringing before the board. Obviously, you can vote however you want, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to put together a proposal with our legal team so that whatever you do see, it would be able to be adopted from a
Yeah.
legal perspective, and then you can decide what you want to do from there. And then the last item that's going to be presented before the board is going to be the what's commonly called nicotine-free generation, which is that at some point past a certain birthday, no one, even if they get to be 21 years old, is going to be purchasing tobacco. However, it's not going to affect people that are of age today. So this would be this would be something that would
Right.
affect future generations, not the ones that are.
I know they did that in Northampton.
Well, Northampton,
Amherst.
Amherst, South Hadley, Pelham? No,
think-
but like there's
Belchertown.
Belchertown, like so many other communities in our area. So we would now like be able to be part of that encatchment area. Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. Our neighbors are doing it, and obviously it's good for people's health not to become addicted to nicotine. So those are the two that I'll be bringing before the board. I do expect they'll be staggered, so one and then another. And I do expect what the goal would be that both will be brought before the board at least before the end of the year. So yeah, you'll see them. I'm just letting you know it is coming. Obviously, we'll be sending you all board members copies of those proposals for the time of the meeting. Any questions on that? So that's what I have for the updates today.
No, I think those are,
And thank you, they brought naloxone to my house.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
yeah, and that's a whole nother thing that we've been working with
Yeah.
Tapestry and stuff.
Yeah, Tapestry would likely be coming to the next
Oh, good.
Board of Health meeting. Not for a proposal, but kind of like what the Green Burial
Yeah.
people did, where they give an update as to like what services they provide, if we want to use them
Right.
more or something like that,
Excellent.
just to give us a bit of an education.
Good.
Yeah.
All right,
great.
administrative assistant update.
The boss.
So, so on the agenda, food vendor permits. So again, our establishments, they've all been permitted.
Oh, great.
Renewed,
Great.
and so on and so forth. They all went through the whole permitting process, so we're good to go there. We have a couple, new, applications, relatively new applications in for a couple of new, brick and mortar chicken establishments.
Oh, that's Dave Hot
Further
Chicken.
further on down Route 9, and there's some beds putting them through the review, and, but they, they've started the application process, they both paid for the application fees.
Oh, great.
So at least they're being proactive, they're anxious to, get going. I mean, it's, I don't know if there are any other permits that are pending for food that I'm unaware of at this point.
La Posada is now open.
Yeah.
They're open.
They sure are.
Yeah, La Posada, it's a
Yeah.
Mexican place over there. They're delicious.
Yeah, they seem to be doing relatively well.
Yeah.
There seems to be plenty of cars in the park.
Yeah.
You've been able to go in?
I have not gone in, but we did order takeout and it was delicious.
It is delicious. They have great art in there too, so.
Oh, well, that's why I need to take my family there,
There you go.
because I want to see the artwork that they did.
Go ahead.
Good. Other than that, every meeting I try to give you guys an update in terms of, where we are in terms of cash flow. Because again, we had set a informal target, if you will, of $60,000
Right.
this fiscal year. We're at 55,000.
Good.
Oh, that's,
So we're
we
getting
haven't even
close.
reached the fall permits for like all those like 1-day permits that the Young Men's Club usually
No.
does.
No, not yet.
Right.
We have, whatever, 2 weeks left
Can we get
into the fiscal year.
even over the 60 then?
Everything for us goes in the general fund.
And we're,
I know.
But-
It's one of those things that I've always had a little about.
Ben and I go boat shopping tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying.
Bring it over to the marina.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I think we're gonna come very close to our target of 60,000 for this fiscal year 26, which again ends June 30. So we only have whatever week and a half left. But
Yeah.
but that if we hit the $60,000 threshold, that would put us ahead from fiscal year 25 by 20%. So we increased cash flow by 20%.
Good.
Which is good. At some point, relatively soon, I'm gonna do kind of a cursory review, what the other towns around us are charging for permits, because I know.
To do another level set.
Let us
They-
know.
They've all been changing. I don't know what they've changed or how drastically, but, again, I don't think we want to be necessarily the leader in terms of, gouging, if you will, but
Right.
at the same time,
We don't have to be behind.
yeah,
Correct.
we don't want to be behind, and again, everything that we do obviously costs money. So, but at the same time, we want to be fair to the businesses. Other than that, I mean, that's it from my viewpoint.
Well, the members of the Board of Health express our deepest appreciation
Uh-huh.
to Ben and to Peter.
Thank you.
Sincerely.
Incredible.
It's
Appreciate you
over
guys.
the top. Just doing a great job. Thank you.
Well, thank you to the board members for providing education where needed.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Do we have any other business that could not be reasonably anticipated?
Now, I have one announcement, and that's,
Oh, golly.
no.
I'm getting a raise.
No.
My Board of Health membership is getting doubled.
Huge increase. There's gonna be if you will, sign-off ceremony on
Oh, for Spain.
July 11th,
Yeah.
which is a Saturday.
Chief,
That's on
for
the
Chief Spain
Yeah,
Table.
1 o'clock
Yeah,
in the
It's on
afternoon,
my
so, okay, so just wanna make sure everybody.
Whole town's gonna be there.
yeah.
The Board of Health will be.
Yeah.
As it is, yesterday, they had their last fire drill at the elementary school,
Oh, it's adorable.
and he was there, and they did a
I didn't
very,
realize he was retiring.
yeah, so more to come with that.
Yeah, and the new deputy chief was
Bob.
sworn in
Yeah.
last week, I think it was.
Bob Flaherty,
Yeah.
I met him. Seems like a good guy.
yeah, he's a great guy,
All right.
good
we have a
family.
Motion to adjourn.
We have to set the date for our next
Oh,
meeting.
right.
Oh,
Thank goodness we have you,
So-
Peter.
The date for our
So,
next
so
meeting.
the second Thursday in July is July 9th.
Are we all gonna be here, or are people gonna be on mysterious, wonderful vacations?
No.
That is a good question. I'm
Um,
looking now, July 9th.
Yeah, the second, I believe the second Thursday.
Oh, you know what?
You're right,
I can't,
see.
we have tickets to the Summer House concerts on Thursday
Ooh,
nights.
what a great problem to have.
Every Thursday night in July, but if Margaret is here, you could have a
Correct.
meeting without.
Right.
You're gonna have to scalp them.
Yeah.
So,
So what are we looking at, the 9th?
So I think we should tentatively set, hearing that,
Can somebody remind me to check with Margaret and see if she can come?
or, right. So what I would say, let's tentatively
Let's do the
set
9th.
Thursday the 9th at 6:30 here in person,
Okay.
pending
And I'll check with, she's away.
Susan,
I'll check
right,
with her in a week.
to confirm with Margaret. And if not, then with, prior to the meeting
Or we may.
postings, we can adjust it.
and if she feels,
Yeah.
if anybody feels though, we need to do, Zoom, you do the
Oh,
meeting on
that's a
Zoom,
good point.
let me know and I'll let Alex know.
This guy,
Alex-
because
Alex
he's
is
now our new human
He's
I
now
am.
Zoom
for
guy.
all the Zoom stuff.
All Zoom stuff, we got the charger
In
now.
charge of Zoom.
We're so thankful for having media.
Yeah.
Motion,
And raining.
is
Yeah.
it, where is the rainbow? It's lit, so did you hear Ben just now? It's raining and sunny outside at the same time. So motion to adjourn, second?
Second.